So, welcome to Operation Disco Volante, something that came about in 007 days, but I'm so glad we've done it.
Yes, thank
been
you,
fun.
Philip. Thank you. Oh, yes.
Yeah. So,
It's on?
It is.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I love you guys.
We love you too, Luciana.
Thank you for coming. That was so sweet of you. Makes my day. So, thank you. Sorry, Emily. You know I love your husband.
so let's start right at the beginning. You were an Italian superstar before James Bond. Is that how they found you?
I wasn't a superstar. I was a working actress. That's it. I wasn't a superstar.
Needs to go up a little bit, darling.
I think
What?
you were a
What am I
superstar.
doing?
Yeah.
Oh, closer.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's it.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds
Like
good.
an ice cream.
Bless you.
Okay.
So you don't think
So,
you're a superstar?
no, I wasn't a superstar. I was a working actress.
So how many films were you a part of before Thunderball? It's more than 10, 20,
yeah.
30?
Probably 30. Yeah.
And that was a whole range of different types of films.
Yes, and all over the place. I mean, I was working not only in Italy, but actually my first foreign picture was here in England. It was at Arthur German, and I was terribly young when I did it, and it was with a cast that is no longer there, obviously, so many years ago, but it was, they put me under the contract for 7 years, but then I went to United States, and 20th Century Fox put me under the contract, and they had to break the one with J. Arthur Rank. So it was, they paid off the English company. I'm sorry that if you think I'm a little, I haven't drank anything. Just the painkillers are making me a little like, I don't sound like this usually. I am much more aware and alert. I'm a
You
little
sound
like
fine,
in a
Luciana.
cloud.
Happy?
And you're making more sense than I do, so you're
I'm
fine.
not so sure about that. Happy, I don't, not yet. Not yet, but getting there. So anyway, sorry.
So before Thunderball, what would you say was the picture that caught the eye of the international fandom? What was the thing that really brought you to the forefront of the studios and the producers of the day?
It was a series of them. I really don't know. There was one that was directed by an Italian director, very well known, called Lina Wertmüller, and that was a really big step up because she was like so well known at the time, and she got an Oscar, and she was very good. But it was a series. I don't know. It just happened because I think I had already worked for Terence before, and he was like my stepdad. We had a relationship that was beyond just friendship. He was like a father to me, to the point that when I got married to Michael, he flew to New York, where we got married. For the weekend, he was in the middle of shooting a picture in Rome, and he flew all the way to New York to give me away to Michael, because my father had passed away, and I considered him like my dad. And so, anyway, he was the one that presented my name to the Broccoli and Saltzman team. And I went to audition for it. I arrived in London and there were like 300 girls, being ready for makeup and all of that, and it was very scary at the same time. But I did my test, and then I went back to Rome, and I waited, and 1 month went by, and 2 months went by, and finally one day I get a call, and they're both on the phone, and they said to me, Luciana, we have good news and we have bad news. So I always like to start with the bad news, because I always want to end up with a good thing. So I said, okay, what's the bad news? They said, well, we can't give you the role of Domino because we want to launch a new actress. Every time we do a picture now, we want somebody that we launch brand new, and you've already worked so much, so you're not new to the industry. And of course I said, oh my God, after this, what kind of good news could there be? After they say, no, you're not in the movie. And I said, so what is the good news? And they said, well, we decided to change the role. It was supposed to be an Irish girl, but we're going to make it into an Italian, and you're going to play the villainess. And I went, yay! Because I thought that was much more fun. I mean, to play the villain is more fun than to play, the good girl, whatever. So that's how I ended up doing the movie.
So from that phone call, how long was it before you were then flown out to the Bahamas, and was indeed that the first port of call, or did you do filming somewhere else?
No, we went first to the Bahamas and then back to London to do all the interiors, but I can't recall the amount of time, probably a month.
Right, so
Yeah,
it was quite
something
late on
like
it
that.
again,
Yeah.
And was it 14 weeks in the Bahamas?
Yeah, I think something like that. Yeah, it was most of the time it was in the Bahamas. Yeah.
Because Martine was flown out just to get a tan so that she looked like an island girl in advance,
Well,
right?
we actually flew out together. I've got a photograph
remember
of the three of
that?
us, yeah. They had the plane that they chartered for us
You're right.
from Heathrow.
You're right.
Yeah, the whole crew, everybody was on
You're
it.
right.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. We have no pictures of that.
I do.
Oh.
And they will be appearing in the next newsletter. So once you got to the Bahamas, obviously then you're with Martine, and that's where your bond started, because that's a long time to spend together in such
Yes.
a paradise.
But you always make your choices with friends. There are the ones that are acquaintances, and you have a lot of those, and then there are the ones that really take your heart away, and Martine is one of those. And we've been friends forever since then. We keep in touch, we talk to each other, we see each other, and we are like sisters. And I couldn't say that with the other Bond girl that was in the picture. I didn't have the same feelings, and it is what it is. You can't love everybody, but with Martine we have really sisterhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was it like actually being on a film of that scale? Because, we'd just come off the back of Goldfinger, which had become a phenomenon, a blockbuster to end all blockbusters at the time. Sean was recognised everywhere he went, mobbed by everybody. What was it like to be part of that in real time like that?
You know what? It was actually the easiest picture that I've ever made because of that. They were so tranquil, knowing that it was going to be a success. So there was no anxiety on the set. You would be in the middle of a scene and a huge cloud would come over and change the lighting on the face of the actors, whatever. So they would say stop, and then an hour later the cloud is still there. Usually on another set, everybody's going crazy because they're saying, this is costing like 75,000 pounds a second, and no, nobody cared. They were all very cheerful and happy. So it was Terence was James Bond. Terence was the epitome of James Bond. He is the one that really gave the character all those little nuances, and he had us, you know, I usually would make a movie somewhere in Spain, wherever you are, and you go, they put some chairs around for lunch, and you go there,
Yeah, I'm on
they have
movie
a,
sets all the time.
a wagon or something, and that's it. No, we had a tent, a white tent on the beach with candle lights and the best of the china that you can have, and that was where we went, remember? So I mean, this was not making a picture, this was making a fairy tale. It was just so much fun, and the easiest of all the pictures I made, this was the most fun and the easiest.
What was it like working with the great man himself, Sean Connery?
Sean was very caustic, great sense of humor, a man's man. He like, you know, dinner time, we maybe had to go out with the governor, or where social life that was already arranged for us. He used to go out with the crew, and that's what he liked. He used to go out with the gaffers and with the people of the crew, and he was a real mensch. I mean, I had nothing but wonderful things, and the relationship continued after the movie, to the point when he was married, well, yeah, when he was alive, because Micheline is still his wife. You know, we went to his apartment in New York. When we saw him socially, and I don't know, there was always such a simpatico between us and Michael, and I don't know, I have nothing bad to say about Sean if you try.
Oh, I wasn't trying to get you to say anything bad about him at all. I mean, I've seen the pictures in your house, and the
Yeah.
pictures out at dinner with Micheline and Sean. I mean,
Yeah.
all I see is smiling, happy faces.
Yeah, he came to the house for dinner with Roger Moore. They were very good friends, as you know. So the two wives were, they weren't really getting along that well, but the Italian wife and
Was that Louisa?
Luisa. And but the two boys just one of the most fun evenings ever when they came over for dinner, because the jokes, the sense of humor, the camaraderie was really nice.
I would have liked to have been.
Yes.
So then, you've done all the filming, you've bonded with the cast and the crew, and then the day comes, the world premiere, and you're out there, and Thunderball is the big hit that they expected it to be, the mega hit. What did that feel like?
I didn't realize it, because now I'm more grown up, obviously. But at the time, you just didn't have the figures, you didn't have variety, you know, where you read what's going on. And I only knew that it was a great success, so we went to the premiere here in London at the, what was the name of the theater?
The Pavilion?
Odeon Leicester Square?
Yes.
No, it is,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah. And you know, there were so many people outside. I remember when we came out, it was Molly Peters and I. Why weren't you? Why didn't you? Were
Yes, I
probably-
was there.
You
But
were?
there were two. There
Yeah,
were two theaters, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
So you did the other one.
Because it was
Yeah. So I was with Molly when I remember coming out, and there were so many people there. It was such a high. It was fun. It was fun.
The majority of people here are obviously Bond fans, and I think rather than us go through the rest of the career, we should maybe open it up to some audience questions
Yes.
so people get the chance to ask you what they want.
Yes.
Now, before I do move to that, I have two questions that came in. Is there another Bond girl that you feel sort of carries on the legacy that you created, or that carries your torch as a villainess, as a strong, powerful?
Absolutely not.
Great answer. So I'm going to go out and ask this question. Well, I'm going to let the person who's asked this question ask it himself. Where's Mr. Pete Brooker?
Oh, there he is.
Oh, there is.
Do you remember what your question was?
Yeah, sure. Hi, Luciana.
Hi.
I was wondering, Did you manage to keep anything from your days filming? Any costumes or props? Did you manage to take anything away from the set as a memory?
No, that shows how dumb I am.
Me too.
If I kept half of the things, just little, today, you know, no, I didn't. And then we were in Dubai, and we went to, there was an exposition, they had a Bond thing there for a couple of months. So we went to visit it, and I see in a cabinet, I see a mannequin with my dress and the boa, the blue boa, right? And I was said, I should have kept that, because today probably would be really something, you know. Well, anyway, no, I didn't,
I'd say
nothing.
A couple of 100,000 easily, I would have thought.
Easy, I know, could have helped UNICEF a lot.
Yeah. Okay, so it is quite a small room. I'm presuming I don't have to get up and take the microphone around to everybody.
Just throw it.
No, has anybody got any questions? Over to you. You could do it without the microphone.
Yeah.
Darling, well, I assume you've seen some of the newer films that followed yours. If you could have chosen one of those films to have been in, either as the good girl or the bad girl, which would it have been? If you could have been in any other film apart from Thunderball, what would you have chosen?
You know, there has been so many actors, and it's tough to remember each one of them. As a matter of fact, Michael and I have said that we have to sit down one time and just binge and see them all over again. I have to be frank. I was so happy with mine that I really can't think of anything else. No, I think I stick to it.
So that's fine.
Thunderball it is.
Perfect.
You're welcome. Arjun.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
You remembered.
Yeah.
Happy National Italian Day. Today is a National Italian Day. Is that?
That's true. This
Yeah.
is exactly.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My question is, which was your first action scene in the movie? Was it the bike scene or the shooting, rifle shooting scene? Which was the first scene, and how remembrance is that for you? Do you still remember the difficulty of that shoot? And
I'll tell you something. I'll never forget the motorcycle scene because, and I can remember that was not the first. I think we started the first scene I did was
It would
the
have
one
been the
in the
shooting.
bed. No?
Of the action scene between the two. If you went to the Bahamas first,
Yeah.
you do the clear pigeon shooting at
Yes,
Palmyra,
but-
so
yeah.
that would be first. So the motorbike would have been second of the two. Logical.
If you say so. I don't remember. But the motorcycle scene became a big issue with me because I woke up at like 5 o'clock, went to the set, they had an instructor. I'd never been on a motorcycle before. And for about 45 minutes, he was teaching me, you know, this, that. And I'm a pretty good driver, car driver. But motorcycle is a whole different world. And so at some point the guy said, yeah, she's ready, let's do it. And I went on the motorcycle and he said, action. So I started to go. And at a certain point, I made a mistake. Instead of going this way, I went the other way. And somehow, or vice versa, like it's too long ago. I only know that I made a mistake with my hand. And I went shooting forward at such speed, I just flew. And I saw this wall coming at me. And my instinct was to try not to go ahead with my face and body, but to take it. So I moved the motorcycle this way. And obviously, as soon as I let go, the whole motor stopped. It didn't work. And I fell on the floor. And I had my leather outfit, and there was a big split, and even my underwear was split in two, but not anything on my skin, just the leather and my underwear. And I was on the floor, and I was expecting Terence to run over and say, Luciana, are you okay or something? No, he runs over and he's screaming, what did you do to the motorcycle? He loved me, but he was very upset. And I said, but maybe I should have taken lessons for a week before, starting on. So that was like the most horrific experience ever, but it is what it is.
Wow.
It's like my ankle. It is what it is.
Anybody else? Fletcher?
Yeah, hi Luciana.
Hi, Fletcher.
Hi. Speaking of being a pretty good driver, you had some really good lines in Thunderball. And I just wanted to know, were there any scenes where you improvised some of those lines? Because that some men don't like to be driven, some don't like to be taken for a ride, and then that monologue you give.
No, sorry, I wish I would have, but this was the script writer. And sometimes Terence actually improvises. Sometimes he would come up with change a line to make it more fun, but no, I can't take credit. Sorry.
No, that's fine. You did a phenomenal job.
Thank you.
So-
Thank you, Fletcher. Thank you.
Number one fan there. Pretty much number one fan there.
Yeah, love him. So sweet. Thank you. Okay,
Please.
back to drinking? No.
It's weird to think that you're so nice, but it was quite scary as a villain in Thunderball. Did you find yourself typecast afterwards into more villainous roles, or did you get a balance?
Not really. The only thing not pleasant that happened after I did the movie, which was, it was an opportunity. I mean, if you paid, if you wanted to spend money on publicity and hire somebody, it would cost you, I don't know, a fortune. The amount of publicity that we all got, from, I remember there was a plane that was brought in from England with all journalists that were on the set. I remember how many, maybe 40 of them, and the covers on magazines and the constant attention, talk shows and all of that. It was overwhelming, and you couldn't have paid for that. But at the same time, it just took you into a different kind of world, because like my main place to live was at the time Italy, and we had Antonioni, Fellini, all the very sophisticated kind of directors, and they knew me, and I knew them. But for them to put a Bond girl into one of their pictures was totally out of so I never got a chance after to do anything really serious, with the big Italian directors, because they didn't want to mix one thing with the other. So that was the only drawback of being a Bond girl. But aside from that, the rest was a lot of fun. So I worked for 27 years in this business, and I only stopped when the man of my life came into my life. So we have now been married 44. Yeah, to be 45 in October. And so happy years. So I'm not complaining at all. That's it. So,
Mark?
Luciana,
yeah.
first of all, thank you for today's event. I know you were determined to do an extra event for us. I had the pleasure of going through a lot of footage from films that you've been in over the years in preparation for the gala. I was just wondering, outside of Thunderball, are there any films from outside of Thunderball, your extensive career, that spring to mind as particular favourites of yours, or that you would encourage fans to search out as well, that you're particularly proud of?
Well, the different ones. I think as a
Green Slime?
the Green Slime was an adventure, because we were in Japan with a whole Japanese crew, the Japanese director. Nobody spoke English. It was an American movie. It was an MGM movie, and it was called Battle Beyond the Stars. When I was signed in for. And it became a cult picture, and it was fun because they didn't have all the special effects that they have today. So when you see these monsters, they're just like, you know, we're talking so many years ago. But everything that we did on set had to be translated. So the director would tell me what to do in Japanese. The translator would, then he would have to translate my answers. So it was quite an experience. That was fun to do and crazy. But my favorite is the Lina Wertmüller picture because she was a genius. And she managed to tell you exactly how to move, what to do, to the smallest detail. She would say, Luciana, you have your foot on the stool. I don't want it pointed that way. I want you to just go a little bit more like that. Okay, keep it like that. Then she would say, you have a cigarette in your hands. No, he said, it's too far down, it's too far up, whatever. She's adjusting. Then he said, the head has to go like this. Now say the line. Now you feel like you're being manipulated. And yet, when we saw the picture at the end, it was like it flew. Everything was, and she was so detail oriented, and it was just a lesson. And I just loved doing the picture with her. And we became good friends until she died recently. We still went to see her in Rome whenever we went, and that I enjoyed that picture a lot. That's it.
Okay. I think we've got time for 2 more questions. One from Natasha.
Yes, in the scene where you're in the bath and Sean comes in and you grab a towel and you get up and you see, I mean, you're gorgeous now, and you see the curve of your breast and you see sort of the curve of your bottom. Did you have any say in how much of you was shown, or was it just shot and you?
You know something, at the time, it's not like today, at the time there was no need to be totally naked so it was not even an issue. You know, Terence said, keep your panties on. No, it wasn't, it's not, times have changed. You know, today it doesn't matter. People get undressed, they make love on the screen, nobody cares anymore. But it was a little bit more prudish, and I think
It was incredibly sexy, incredibly erotic,
because
even though you didn't see everything.
I think, yes, I agree with you. I think sometimes this kind of more discerning and it's more sexy than to show everything. I mean, it leaves a lot to imagination, but.
Okay, time for one more. You've already had one, so I'm going to go with you.
Hi, Luciana. I was wondering if you ever had any regrets about not winning the part of Domino, and whether if you had played the heroine rather than the villain, it would have made any difference to you?
No, actually, I was so happy that to play the other role. It was, to me, it was much more fun. It was better. I don't know, I had more fun with it. I was actually very excited about doing the role of Fiona and not Domino.
It is the better role.
Yeah.
By a country man.
Yes.
Villains have more fun.
Yes, I agree.
Yes, darling.
Okay, well, for those of you who still have a glass, why don't we raise a glass to Luciana Paluzzi?
Yes.
Thank you so much for everything.